Thank you for watching. Today I have House District 15, Emily Kane, visiting us today. She's been in the legislature since 2013, correct?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And welcome to the show again. You were here, I think, last season, I think you were on my show.
Yes, I was. It was a great time last season.
Well, thank you for taking the time out of you're currently on the campaign trail, right? You're going to be on the ballot this year? And
yes, I am.
So you got a little bit of work there as far as
Just
knocking on doors and things like that. I'm sure you're busy, and you're busy at the fire department. How's that going?
Great. My work is great.
That's a busy, we were talking earlier, it's a pretty busy place there.
Sure. Station 1 is very busy. The rescue is extremely busy.
Correct, yeah. How do you find that it's okay for you to work with both? Are you okay with it?
We have a lot of time off. And instead of taking the time to go on big, long family vacations like most reasonable firefighters would, I use my time to serve in the legislature.
During the session, naturally, the fire department has to, because remember, we had that whole controversy about...
I just use my own time off.
Okay, so it's nothing that it's not conflicting.
I'm not subsidized, I'll put it that way. Okay.
So what do you think? You've been in the legislature for a couple of years there, right? And you're coming on your second year. Am I right? Second year, 2013, right? So how are you feeling now? What's the feeling like in the legislature? What are the talks there? Are we on our recovery? Economy is like in shambles. I was just talking to Gary King, he was here. We lost about 5,900 jobs net, where other states are gaining. So there is that recession. When you look at the recession itself, we are not only not coming out of the woods, we're going downwards. I'm not sure if that's your perception, but being in the legislature, but do you feel that that's...
Yes, I do. I feel that that's the biggest pressing need right now, is to figure out how we can help people get back to work. And the statistics that you bring up are even more magnified in New Mexico.
Correct.
They predicted initially that when we went into this recession, that the recovery would also start moving slowly from the East Coast to the West Coast. And I believe that's part of what we're feeling. But I believe we can do more to try to really help our state grow.
What do you think? I know that we were talking about the current governor being in there. When she came in, we thought some of the austerity measures might work. So everyone said, well, let's give it a chance and see what she does. Apparently it hasn't worked up till this, in the 5 years. Not only there haven't been any jobs created, we're going in the minus, people are leaving. There's a lot of brains that are leaving. Once they graduate, they're out of here. You're talking about lawyers, doctors, what have you. How do we stop, number one, the brain drain that we refer to? And then how do we focus on some of these job creators, be it small ones? So like Gary King mentioned, called them micro businesses, 2 employees, 3 employees. Do you have any thoughts there as far as what we can do to stabilize the economy, one, and then create certain...
Well, you bring up some good points. I believe that the emphasis on downsizing our state government is actually having a bit of a negative repercussion on people that used to work for the state government. When we do have quite a few agencies that have downsized and that have positions that are open that aren't being filled. And I think in a way we're doing a disservice to New Mexico by focusing on that, I think, prematurely. I wish that we would look more at how we can fully staff state government and employ people and get them to work and get some of those projects that we are funding, infrastructure improvement projects, for example, roads. And we could really put people to work if we just looked closely at what state government is doing or not doing in this case.
But you don't think austerity is the right way to go?
I think it's premature to start looking at downsizing our state government. It's been such a vital creator of jobs for our state.
Correct, yeah. We lost, from the sequester, we lost about 2,500 jobs in the government. Once again, I was mentioning to Gary that we lost 2,500 and that's nothing to do with the current administration or even the state.
Right.
Sequester, we lost some jobs there from the federal government. The jobs I think that we could have probably stopped was this private sector, the service industry jobs. I don't know why they went. We lost 2,100 jobs there. We lost in manufacturing, about 1,700 jobs. Housing, we lost 1,500.
Yes.
So combined together, that's a pretty huge net loss there in 1 year. And
You mentioned the smaller businesses, and you mentioned, I think you called them the micro businesses that have the real...
the 1 and
just
2 employees.
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. I would say that our focus should be on what we can do to keep them here and to help them grow. There's some great ideas out there. We really need to incentivize people to hire employees. And I would like to see us take a look at the businesses that are currently here and create sustainable jobs. I think that would be the term that I would use for them.
Long term. Do you think that, I know the education is also tied into the economy, and we always try to bring in education and focus on the education sector because it does create jobs, the training aspects of it. Do you have any thoughts as far as what we can do vis-a-vis the education?
I do. One of the things that we've noticed is we've actually cut back on a lot of the real practical education in high schools, getting kids to go into a program that would prepare them for real life work right away. Building trades would be a good example of that. And we have now a carpenter's education center here in New Mexico. There are other building trades. The sheet metal workers have a training facility.
Who are these offered through, CNM, or is it through University of New Mexico or other?
Currently, you can get into these programs without having any kind of a degree through a 2-year college or even a 4-year college. But I think we need to be engaging children at high school level. And I think this is where we might be able to find the future workforce and get them involved in more and more programs. CNM's working hard to try to create more different kinds of opportunities for students and more ideas about where they go.
You know, when we listen to like the governor's race, they always talk about early childhood programs. What is the lack of focus there? I always try to pinpoint when we talk about early childhood is it starting from birth, or is it having to do with the parents, having to do with the children, testing?
I'm glad you brought that up. There's been a recent study, and I think that this will help us in the next legislative session focus on early childhood education. There are parents out there who believe that if you get your children involved in a early childhood education program, this is beyond daycare, but something that's more geared toward the skills they need in life. For example, reading. The study pointed out that children who are not yet verbally skilled benefit a lot just from being read to. And I thought that was fascinating. I did that with my children, and a lot of parents who have time will also do that. But nobody ever had quantified before that I'm aware of that this is really advantageous. The literary word as read to a child who's beginning to learn their vocal skills is a really good way to teach language and get them hooked from the start that reading is an activity they want to pursue. We're talking 2 years old. 3 to 5 years old is early childhood range, and we need to start funding that in a very serious manner, especially based on this study.
It's an important thing because education is something that deals with the future. It's not just the present. Most people fail to realize that it is so important for our future to have this kids educated in the right way and stuff.
I definitely
Let me
agree.
take a short break. We'll come back. We'll continue on from the education, or we'll move on to some other subjects, and there's plenty of them there.
Okay.
So we'll